evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to NCWA Pro Wrestling. I'm John Lloyd. Fans, before we begin, I got a couple people I want to say hi to. First of all, special hello to Mike Pfeiffer and Connie Sedlak, who are watching us this evening. Mike didn't believe that Connie actually watches the show and knows me, but Mike, you're wrong, pal. Your girlfriend does know me. As a matter of fact, hope you didn't buy the farm on that one, because you could have lost a lot of money with that bet. Also, wrestling fans, our condolences go out to Marty Miller, whose father just passed away. And also, get well wishes to Big Al Ansel, commissioner of the NCWA, who is currently hospitalized. We hope, Al, that you're up and running the show here in the NCWA as soon as you can. Right now, wrestling fans, we've talked about it for weeks. Want to remind you that coming up Thursday, June the 17th, 7 o'clock start time, and Fridley City Hall parking lot, Fridley 49er Days. Now, that will start at 7 o'clock. And also want to remind you that just in case there's any rain, the matches will be held at the Fridley Community Education Center. Now, I'll be giving you that address in the upcoming moments, but that is Thursday, June 17th, a 7 o'clock start time. On that card, you'll see J.B. Trask in a return match taking on Jerry Lynn. The Russian assassin, Chris Markoff, is signed. He'll be there. The Midgets will have a singles match. Lord Littlebrook will take on the Karate Kid. Also on the card, the NCWA heavyweight champion, the Masked Professor, will put his title on the line against a mystery challenger. And in tag team action, the tag team champions, the Yates Gang, will put their titles up against yet-to-be-determined opponents. Now, a little bit of confusion that I need to clear up regarding the tag team championship. Those belts were previously held by the Heartbreakers. However, one of the Heartbreakers was injured. Because of that injury, the Heartbreakers were not able to defend the belts within 30 days, so the titles were held up, and promoter Jim Mitchell and the championship committee decided that the belts should be awarded to the #1 challengers, and that is the Yates Gang. So the Yates Gang, the newly crowned NCWA Tag Team Champions, will defend their titles against a yet-to-be-determined team Thursday, June 17th, 7 o'clock at Fridley 49er Days. Well, fans, we'll have more for you in the show. We'll have some interviews, and it's a great show, so stay with us. We'll have more coming up right after this.
To describe Carmine Verona Jr., and I have to say, before the Baron comes out, I am joined at ringside by one of my great friends in this sport, the former ring announcer from the AWA, the guy who I got started as an announcer in this business, and really, you owe me, Dick Jonkowski. Jonker, welcome to ringside.
Mick, thank you very much. And as I walked in, I can't believe this crowd. They're just wild, rabid fans, a raucous crowd, and it's really nice to see, well, it's good to see it back in my hometown, so to speak.
Absolutely. This is just great. Fans in Shakopee take their wrestling very seriously, and here he comes, Dick.
Oh!
There he is. And Dick, more than once in AWA rings, I saw you get out of the way when this guy hit the ring.
Well, I'll tell you, he used to scare me when he'd come across, and especially the goose step.
Oh.
Goose stepping up and down, and he's still amazing.
The Baron von Raschke, the Clawmaster. That is all we need to know. Wait a minute. The Baron, worldwide acclaim this man has attained over the years. And that's been more than a couple of years in professional wrestling. The Baron actually got started in the 1960s. Since that time, Jocker, he has headlined every major professional wrestling arena in the world.
Absolutely. Of course, he is, as Mick said, a fan favorite. They love him in this area. And, of course, every place he goes, it doesn't make any difference. He's still just unbelievable with his charisma.
Well, referee Bruce Kreitzman has signaled for the bell, and now the Baron still with his ring robe on. Every time I look at Carmine Verona Jr., I get sick to my stomach. It's that simple. You know, Dick, we've seen them all over the years. We've seen the Bobby Heenans, Lorne Alfred Hayes. We've seen Sir Oliver Humperdinck. We've seen them all. This Verona, for some reason, it's like fingernails on a blackboard anytime he comes out.
He does seem like that kind of guy. He just goes against you no matter what. I have to agree with you 100%.
And the Baron is eager.
Does he remind you a little bit of Paulie, dangerously a little bit?
Very much so.
Yeah.
You bet he does. a little George Shire in him, too. Now that
yeah, what do you... I think so.
Yeah.
George Shire, another great name in wrestling history.
Finally, they lock up, and the masked professor collar to elbow with the Baron. The professor with that tremendous upper body development. He's got a set of guns on him. And again, Dick, as I said at the beginning of the bout, this guy, from a technical standpoint, is a great wrestler. He knows the holds and the counter holds. It's that manager of his that instills that devious, that underhanded style.
And we'll be watching him very closely throughout the course of the match because who knows, as you know, this guy's going to be somewhere to interfere, I'm sure.
Dick, from your own standpoint, a legend here in Shakopee, Minnesota, with your Saturday morning Coaches Roundtable radio program, the PA announcer for Gopher Athletics. You've got it all going. You've got that sports museum in your basement that I'm going to break into once before I die. What's going on with you, Dick?
Well, other than that, Mick, it's, I'm doing a lot of speaking all over the 5 states of banquets of all types. There it is. He's got him. And you know who the crowd is for, you can be sure. But that's been going very well, the speaking especially.
Well, I've listened to you at more than one banquet, and you are something else again. I think I heard that they're serving soup to nuts line 57 times in a 2-week period in 1984.
That's right. We started out in 84 with a banquet when you guys had the great fan club going.
Oh,
remember we used to do the shows that you did, the memorabilia shows?
Beautiful.
Boy, those are terrific. I remember that.
And now the Baron with that side headlock on the masked professor. We don't know a lot about the professor in terms of hometown, exact weight, and that type thing. Very, very secretive about his statistics, but not so secretive about the fact that he is the NCWA heavyweight champion. A double tough individual, as Gordon Soley would say. But in the person of Baron von Raschke, he has one wily ring veteran that knows all the tricks, and he'll give the professor everything he wants and then some.
Well, yeah, you're right. Go back to the days of when the Crusher and the Baron were tag team champions. But I remember they really had some brutal matches.
The Road Warriors.
Oh, hey, there's a name out of the past, of course.
Oh! Well, as the professor tried to whip Baron into the ropes, the Baron grabbed what he could, which happened to be that mask of the professor, who incidentally, Doctor, says he has an IQ of well over 200. That's what he says.
That's unbelievable.
Exactly. Oh, he's trying to grab a handful of the Baron's hair.
Fantastic.
Now,
you know, at the Baron, he spent about 20 minutes combing his hair before the match, and then he forgot to bring it.
Ra-boom! I'm telling you, between you and Kreitzman and the Baron, I'm going blind here, and I don't see so well going in.
Yeah, there's a reflection. That's a reflection.
Oh, my. The Baron loves his work. Look at that grin on his face. You know that the Baron, I had him on Saturday night at ringside. He had the audacity to claim that he was mistaken for Robert Redford coming into the studio.
Oh, unbelievable.
Redford's not that good looking. All right. The professor, he did extricate himself from that side headlock. Baron steps over the top and right back in once again. The Clawmaster, as you said, Dick, former AWA Tag Team Champion. Perhaps the most devastating team in the history of the AWA was the Baron and Mad Dog Vachon.
Oh, absolutely. That's right.
And that's to take nothing away from some of the Baron's other partners, like the Crusher. But Mad Dog Vachon and the Baron, between the two of them, they terrorized arenas from coast to coast and border to border.
And I remember a Christmas card, early part of December, this was several years ago, and the Baron and Mad Dog, and there were other wrestlers on the card, and after it was over, the Baron had a Christmas party with several of the wrestlers. Silent Night, White Christmas, the Baron and Mad Dog started singing Christmas carols, and both of them ended up crying. They were in tears. It just goes to show these guys are really excellent human beings.
Oh, they are. They are indeed. And the fact We're here tonight for a benefit, ladies and gentlemen. The Baron is the first man to sign his name on that dotted line anytime there's a benefit card. Now the professor, using the tights to put the Baron over the top there in that pinning position. In the meantime, outside the ring, Carmine Barana Jr. Oh, get out of here.
I want them out of here.
John Townsend, get out of here. Carmine Barana Jr., anytime he gets in the vicinity, I look for the raid. I want to spray it right in his face. The guy is a housefly. You want to swat him.
He came after me, Mick. Look at that. He's unbelievable.
Look at him. Look, he's having a stroke. Look at that, Dick. The veins in his neck are popping out.
Yeah, I see that.
Back to the ring. The Baron still with that side headlock, that vice-like grip on the masked professor. Professor powers Baron into the ropes now. Kreitzman calls for the break.
Wrestling fans, we are back with NCWA Pro Wrestling. A reminder that it is Thursday night, June the 17th, 7 o'clock start time at Fridley City Hall in the parking lot for Fridley 49er Days. Now, if there is rain, we will be moving to Fridley Community Education Center, 6085 7th Street Northeast. So a reminder that just in case it rains, the matches will go on. That's at Fridley Community Education Center, 6085 7th Street Northeast in Fridley.
No charge either.
No charge, that's right. Promoter Jim Mitchell, I've asked you out here because let's get right to the point. The masked professor is signed for Fridley 49er Days. No opponent named as of yet. And frankly, let's clear the mystery. We want to know right here, right now, who you have signed for the masked professor's opponent at Fridley 49er Days.
Well, you know, I really wasn't going to let this out of the bag, but I got him back. I got him here on time, and I didn't want anybody to get into this. It's Carmine, and Professor, you are going to be in trouble. Because when I bring in this guy in right now, all heck is going to break out. Right here. Here he comes.
Oh, my goodness. Get a load of this. Welcome back to the NCWA, Horace the Psychopath. Now, Horace, most recently you toured in the USWA, traveling throughout Tennessee, brawling with some of the best wrestlers in the world down in Tennessee, and now you've made your return to the NCWA. Horace, I got to ask you point blank, what's on your mind? What do you have in store for the masked professor?
Hi, John.
Hi, Horace.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
How's the professor doing?
Well, he's still the heavyweight champion.
That's what I was reading. And, who's he wrestling the 17th?
He's wrestling you. You are assigned as his opponent, yes.
All right. Well, it's been 14 months since the last time I got a title shot. And what happened the last time?
You were on the bad end of the heart punch the last time that you wrestled the masked professor.
The bad end of the heart punch. And he was disqualified, and in the 14 months since then, who has received title shots?
Well, let's see. There have been wrestlers such as Dr. Bob Mason, Terry Fox. The list goes on. Those are a couple that come directly to mind.
And what comes directly to my mind is it took 14 months for me to get a title shot.
Well, that's something that I have no control over, Horace. That's up to promoter Jim Mitchell and the championship committee to determine who is deemed worthy of a title shot.
A title shot. Well, the Baron von Raschke didn't get a title shot last month, right?
That's correct. He had the main event against the masked professor, but it was not for the NCWA heavyweight title.
But this one is for the NCWA title.
That's correct.
This one's for the NCWA title. So ask me a question.
How do you prepare yourself to wrestle the masked professor? Now, as I mentioned, you've toured throughout Tennessee. You've brawled with some of the baddest, the biggest wrestlers down in that part of the country. Now you're back. How do you prepare yourself mentally and physically for the masked professor?
I don't prepare. And that's why I'm going to win.
You don't prepare, and that's why you're going to win?
That's why I'm going to win, because I don't prepare. And the heart punch, I don't have much of a heart. So it ain't going to matter. So come the 17th, masked professor, you walk your little butt down to the ring. You bring your little manager, and we'll find out what happens the 17th.
Well, fans, there you have it, the bombshell. Mass Professor's opponent is none other than Horace the Psychopath. Thursday, June 17th, Fridley 49er Day, 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. Be there. Wrestling fans, the annual June Spectacular is coming up. Fridley 49er Days, June the 17th, 7 o'clock start time, Fridley City Hall in the parking lot. Pro wrestling action will feature dynamic Jerry Lynn, the hot, high-flying actor, as he goes up against J.B. Trask, the superior male of the NCWA. Also on the card, you're going to see the Mass Professor, the NCWA heavyweight champion. His title will be on the line against a yet-to-be-determined challenger. Wow, the Mass Professor will be there along with his manager, Carmine Verana Jr. The Heartbreakers, NCWA Tag Team Champions, are there. Their titles are up for grabs as they defend against the Yates Gang, along with their manager, Carmine Verana Jr. Fans, if that wasn't enough, also on the card, the Russian assassin, Chris Markoff, will be there. The Midgets will be there. More wrestling action, Fridley 49er Days, June 17th, 7 o'clock at Fridley City Hall. We are back with NCWA Pro Wrestling. Joining me is one half of the Heartbreakers, Doug. And Doug, a lot of controversy surrounding those NCWA tag team titles formerly held by you and your brother Dan. Now, Dan sustained an injury. Due to the injury, the two of you were not able to defend the title within the 30 days. Promoter Jim Mitchell and the NCWA Championship Committee stripped you of the titles and awarded them to the challengers, the #1 contenders, the Yates Gang. And point blank, I want to know, how do you feel about that?
I don't really feel that good about it, but what can you do? My brother got injured from something else that had nothing to do with wrestling, what he was injured in, and we could not defend the belts within 30 days. He was going in for surgery. It was on his shoulder, but what could we do? You know, I was planning on going into singles matches here, and then I hear the Yates here the other day up on TV talking about #1 contenders. They don't want to put the belts up against anybody around here. We got rid of the #1 contenders. We're the champions now. You guys got handed the belts on a silver platter, and you guys didn't even have to work up a sweat to get the belts. You got them handed to you. But after hearing some of your contenders, Little Tokyo, Sandy Parlow, it's just unbelievable, these contenders that they're claiming are #1 contenders.
Well, the Yates Gang, they told me last week that they were thinking of putting the titles on the line against worthy challengers such as Dr. Bob Mason and his partner, Matt the Navy SEAL, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. It does, in my opinion, seem as though the Yates Gang were handed the titles on a silver platter.
They were, and I have a tag team coming up here, and just wait to find out who I've got for a partner. I'm not going to tell anybody, maybe for another week or so. Yates, sweat it out.
Well, fans, there you have it. The Yates Gang, they're signed for Fridley 49er Days, and who knows who their opponent will be. Stay tuned, fans. We've got more of NCWA Pro Wrestling coming up.
I used to watch him in Golden Gloves. He's a real classy guy. We
Fantastic.
hope he does come out of it.
Oh, he drilled the Baron right in the lower back area. And I'll tell you, that is a sledgehammer packed by the Mass Professor. Right above our microphone now. He's got Baron draped over that second rope. Oh, geez. Those ropes are coiled steel, Jocker.
Oh, into Kreitzman.
Oh, Kreitzman just got out of the way.
Kreitz is pretty nimble.
You bet he is. And Bruce Kreitzman has refereed in Japan. He's refereed for the National Wrestling Alliance. He knows his way around the ring, believe you me, and he's big enough to handle those that get out of line.
And he started out as a photographer.
And he did. You know that Kreitzman started out as a photographer. Paulie Dangerously was a photographer. Jim Cornette. All these guys are making money, and I started out as a photographer, and I'm sitting here next to you.
That's right.
What happened?
I remember you took some of the greatest pictures, ringside shots, especially of Nick Bockwinkel that I've ever seen. They were great.
Well, the crowd trying to get behind the Baron right now as the Mass Professor maintains that bear hug. Great shot there. You see every time he wrenches that back that he injured earlier on. I don't believe you're going to get a submission out of Baron von Raschke. I think Baron, the guy's got to be unconscious before he's going to submit.
I doubt if he ever. I very seldom, if ever, have seen him submit.
This is Mick Karch along with Dick Jankowski. We are at Shakopee Senior High School with the NCWA. A great evening of wrestling action, and we'd like to thank J&T Commodities, Shakopee Ford, for putting this one on, of course, and our friend Jim Mitchell, another great job with the NCWA. Listen to this crowd.
They are going absolutely wild.
Oh!
Hey, the Baron got back at him.
But not enough. The Baron has taken a lot of punishment in this one, and very wisely, the masked professor goes back to the grip, to the bear hug on the back. He's really disabling Baron von Raschke. Very, very smart wrestling, like him or not.
I have to agree. He's a tough customer.
Well, Dick Jankowski, no Stan Hansen in the building tonight to chase you around the ring.
Am I lucky about that?
Oh. Well, that very same night, Bruce Kreitzman was not so lucky. After you bailed out, Hansen caught him right in the small of the back with that cowbell as you were sitting at ringside shaking hands with somebody.
That's right. I do remember, and also, if you remember shortly after that, he turned out later on to be the Berserker, but who am I thinking of?
John Nord. Nord the Barbarian.
Nord the Barbarian went after me, remember, also. In fact, at Pabon, Minnesota, at the Eagles Club one night, he strangled me with the ring cord, with a microphone cord.
You're nobody in this business as an announcer, Jonker, until you're strangled by a wrestler.
Oh, unbelievable. Or have your sport code ripped off.
There you go.
As you know.
Brings to mind our good friend Wally Carbo. I know I saw Baron von Raschke at the wake for Wally. Baron wrestled for Wally for so many years, and I know Wally is here in spirit tonight watching the Baron in the ring.
One thing about Wally, he always treated everybody equal, and he made sure his announcers, wrestlers, everybody got the good payment. And,
absolutely.
Everybody was top-notch as far as he was concerned.
Baron von Raschke, just one of the many stars that Wally Carbo started in professional wrestling. They talk about going through Vern Gagne's training camp. Yes, that's true. But for the advice, the tutelage, the shoulder to cry on, the encouragement, everybody from the Baron to Ric Flair to Bob Backlund, they all went to Wally Carbo. Hard-boiled Haggerty, Dick the Bruiser. Wally started so many in professional wrestling.
I think initially, as far as the AWA ring announcing is concerned, if not for Wally, I maybe wouldn't have gotten a start, because I remember you helped me also along with George Shire, but Wally went to Vern and said, give him a chance. I think he can help us.
And perhaps for, maybe one of the few times in the last 12 years of Wally's life, Vern agreed with him.
That's about one of the few times he's right.
Let's get back to the action.
All right,
look, there he is again. He is just beside himself. Carmine Baron, and again the crowd picking up that Baron chant, giving that adrenaline to the Clawmaster from Germany. This is, from what I understand, a non-title bout. Oh, the Baron missed that elbow by a country mile as the professor had rolled out of the way. Big clothesline, and down goes the Baron.
Kreitzman right on top of the count of two.
Professor came within an eyelash. I guess I can't call it an upset, because certainly Professor, as NCWA champ, has established himself, but he would be he's defeating a real legend. Oh, there it is! There's the claw! Right there! Baron's got him in center ring with the claw! Center ring! It's over!
How about that? The crowd favorite prevailed.
All over. Well, just when it looked like Baron was about to be defeated here.
Joining me right now, wrestling fans, the newly crowned NCWA Tag Team Champions, Rowdy and Shotgun Yates. And Rowdy, first of all, Friendly 49er Days, June the 17th, you and your brother will defend the titles against undetermined challengers. And I got to ask you point blank, what's on your mind, because you're not quite sure who you're going to wrestle?
Well, you know something, Mr. LLoyd? I am not going to defend my title against anybody. He is not going to defend his title against anybody. You know why? We don't know who the person is. How do you expect us to ride the hogs over the head if we don't know who the head is going to be? You know, I ain't going to do it, Mr. Mitchell. I'm not going to do it. You cannot force us to do this.
Well, just a moment. First of all, you are signed to defend the title belts. Now, your challengers will be named within the next couple of weeks. Who knows, you might not find out till Thursday night, June the 17th. Shotgun Yates, how do you feel about that, not knowing who your opponents may be?
Mr. LLoyd, you know, something came down the other day when we were out talking. We were talking about who's going to take us down, and nobody's going to take us down. That's what it is, baby. We're the ones with the belts. Just like when the boxing heavyweight champion wins, he don't put up the title in 2 minutes. He waits until he's ready. He waits until they have a avid challenger. We want an avid challenger, or we ain't gonna wrestle. But we have had avid challengers. We got people like Matt the Navy SEAL and Mr. Bob Mason, doctor. We've done it every night for the past 6 weeks. Little man, big men. You know, we put it up. We have already done it. But at least we signed. They signed. We knew who the opponent was. And they were very good challengers. They kicked butt on the Heartbreakers. They beat them in a heartbreak. Just snap them in two.
Oh, wait a second. How can you consider Dr. Bob Mason and Matt the Navy SEAL challengers, avid challengers, as you put it, when they have not wrestled in the past few weeks? I don't understand. You said that you've been defeating them. Quite frankly, I find that hard to believe.
You know, it's so strange. It's so weird. They signed. They put their thing out. I put the title on the line, and we just happened to get lucky and beat them. You know, Mr. Heartbreaker, you wouldn't sign against those boys. You wouldn't do it, because they would beat you. We've beaten you. We've maimed you. You can remember the last match. You grabbed the brass knuckles. You were going to hit me. And let me tell them, brother, George Foreman goes out. Riddick Bowe goes out. They defend their title on a basis where they get these challengers that are worthy. They
Well,
get the
fans,
ones that
we're out of time. Remember, Friendly 49er Days, Thursday night, June 17th. We'll see you there.
This is Channel 6, the Metro Cable Network.